Tony's optimistic.
People's lives are basically I think we just have to press on, Stephen. Little by little, I'm confident we are making people more aware of all the issues. And I hope. You've done a particularly good job. Scandinavian words are wrong. That's not really true.
I read
it. So always the Asian section, like Chanting. We're just sort of winding up to announce a pretty important milestone for us. We're just a group of individuals, but we've been coming here for 200 weeks this week to try and draw attention to the injustice that's been perpetrated on Australian Julian Assange. Transparency, free speech and debate are the hallmarks of a free society and a democracy. All dictatorships start by criminalizing free speech. And this is what they're doing in this issue. They're criminalizing the freedom of expression of Julian Assange, who's a journalist, has won more journalistic awards than just about anybody, is the most famous journalist in the world, and will probably remain so for hundreds of years. And we have a few people meeting behind closed doors, conspiring to keep him in prison for exposing the crimes that they have committed. And if the people of the world don't stand up for free speech, which is possibly the most fundamental human right, they will lose that right. We are already seeing, with the passing of the online safety laws in the UK this week, which finally went through and were passed, only require royal accession at the moment to become law, whereby internet service providers who allow harmful or misinformation speech on any of their internet platforms can be imprisoned. So the idea is that if you say something online the government doesn't like, they can they can imprison the management of the online provider, whether it's Facebook or the senior management. It won't be the owners, it'll be the senior management. So that will be the justification for censoring the internet. And that's how they will do it. They will threaten criminalisation with any speech on the internet they decide is harmful, and it's all done in a completely opaque, non-transparent way. This is one of the most important things that's ever happened to people in the Western world, and of course it's hardly been debated in the Parliament or in the media or amongst the cognoscenti, the Illuminati, the glitterati. So please tell your family and your friends and your local politicians, if you're able to get access to them, that this is not a reasonable situation. We want it remedied. Fortunately, there has been about 25 or 30 people in the Parliament that to support the government taking action to get Assange out of prison. And there's a cross-party delegation just gone to America to try and engage with American congressmen, which is a poison chalice, because I think just about anybody that studies geopolitics will realize or tell you that almost the entire Congress of America has been bought by the military-industrial complex, the Wall Street industrial complex, and all of these mega corporations, whether it's BlackRock or whatever, that have trillions of dollars at their disposal to give unlimited political donations, pay for unlimited advertising, and get virtually 100% support in the mainstream media. It's a very, very serious problem, and we can't fix it until everybody is aware of it, and we unite and say to the government, we've had enough of this stuff. We want accountability. We want the truth. We want the right to debate things. And I would like to think that we could move to a point like they have in Switzerland, where the government can make no laws unless they're ratified by the people. It doesn't stop the government being corrupt, but it makes it a lot harder for them to make laws that none of us want. I'd just like to ask you out there, folks, how many people out there believe in these online safety bills? Put your hand up if you think they should be able to censor the internet. One. Okay, well, please, sir, come and tell us your point of view. Would you like to tell us your point of view? Oh, you put your hand up for no reason. Yeah, brilliant.
I agree with you guys.
Oh, okay, I'll be quiet then. Yeah.
Sign the petition, free during the site. See, you're looking at it. You're interested. It's what it is.
I feel like I would be like a lot more, like, I don't know, like
I am acutely aware of the savagery of empire, how the brutal tools of repression are first tested on those Franz Fanon called the wretched of the earth. Wholesale surveillance, torture, coups.
Everywhere you go in this world, people are having a nice time together. Indians and Chinese and Australians and Americans and English and French, we're all having a nice time together. So why are these governments dropping bombs on people? We've got to stop this stuff, because in fact it corrupts everything, because it gives them the justification to have this security, surveillance, control state, which they're now ramping up to control of free speech on the internet. We're not even going to be able to have informed medical consent if the big pharma and Bill Gates are able to dictate what the World Health Organization can prescribe. They might say have another 7 jabs next year.
I'm doing an acknowledgement of country today with mixed feelings. There are those in the Indigenous community that are calling for the acknowledgement and welcome to country ceremonies to be stopped. I don't fully understand the issues, so I will give my acknowledgement today. In that I would like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and those that are emerging. Thank you. Thank you very much. The casualties of war that I learnt recently from John Pilger's new documentary. In the First World War, 10% of casualties were civilian. 1 in 10 casualties was a civilian casualty 100 years ago during the First World War. Then, in the Second World War, the casualty rate of civilians jumped from 10% to 50%. Half the casualties in the Second World War were civilians, were babies and children and mothers and grandmothers. Nowadays, in Iraq and Afghanistan and all the other obscene wars that we partake in, the civilian casualty rate has risen to 90%. 9 out of every 10 people that die in our wars in foreign lands are civilians, are babies and children and mothers and grandmothers. This obscenity must stop now.
All right, well, we might as well sing a song I wrote. It was actually a rally right here outside the town hall a few years ago, and someone asked me to come and play a song, and I was going to sing a song about drone warfare, which I've written, and just while I was, I think I sat down at my computer to try and make sure I had all the lyrics right, and this song came to me with this chorus which went, "Your dirty little secret ain't a secret anymore." And I thought, there's a good idea for a song. And the amazing thing was that the day I wrote it, it was the 100th birthday of Woody Guthrie. And I think Woody poked his finger down from heaven and said, "Here's an idea," boing, and he gave it to me. So, your dirty little secret ain't a secret anymore. We know what you're doing in your dirty little war. It's the same thing you've been doing time and time and time before. Your dirty little secret ain't a secret anymore. Okay, now, a lot of you regulars here know this song. Maybe if we all sing it, maybe some of these passers-by might actually join in. Let's try it again. Your dirty little secret ain't a secret anymore. We know what you're doing in your dirty little war. It's the same thing you've been doing time and time and time before. Your dirty little secret ain't a secret anymore. I can't hear you guys. Can you hear them, Billy? No, I can't hear them. So as you know, the part of the inspiration for this song was the Collateral Murder video that I saw, where the helicopter gunship saw these people including, I think, a couple of journalists, wasn't it? And a couple of children and a few other people. And they were all just sort of standing around. I don't know what they were doing, but they weren't hurting anybody or they weren't doing anything illegal as far as I can tell. And this helicopter gunship crew thought, oh, let's shoot these guys up. See how we go. And they were just using it like it was a computer game or something, or a cartoon or something, you know. The helicopter gunship crew thought they were all just actors. There's men and children used for target practice. WikiLeaks released it. It's not rumour now, it's fact, it's evidence of cowboys shooting up the town. And your dirty little secret ain't a secret anymore. We know what you're doing in your dirty little war. It's the same thing you've been doing time and time and time before. Your dirty little secret ain't a secret anymore. Here goes the police. It's hard to keep a secret in the age of information. Push one little button and it's on everybody's... What is it? Facebook. Push one little button and it's on everybody's Facebook. Anyone who isn't blind can see the situation, because Julian Assange is around. Can you help me sing it, please? And your dirty little secret ain't a secret anymore. We know what you're doing in your dirty little war. It's the same thing you've been doing time and time and time before. Your dirty little secret ain't a secret anymore. Is it going to do the 5? Does it chime? Does it chime the hours? It does, doesn't it?
It's coming up for 5.
I can't hear the 5 chimes.
They will come.
Oh, you have to wait 30 seconds, right? Well, we're in a hurry. We're waiting for Julian.
Oh, no, it's done.
Oh, it's done, is it? Okay, next verse. 2, 3, 4. That's long enough. I've lost my ukulele. That's it, we got it. Once upon a time, like back when I was in my youth, the US Army war machine would cover up the truth. They can't do that anymore because now we've got the proof of the way they like to throw their weight around. And your dirty little secret ain't a secret anymore. We know what you're doing in your dirty little war. It's the same thing you've been doing time and time and time before. Your dirty little secret ain't a secret anymore. Remember that old saying, don't shoot the messenger? Well, Julian Assange is a messenger. He's not a traitor. He held up a mirror to the people of the USA to show them what is really going down. And your dirty little secret ain't a secret anymore. We know what you're doing in your dirty little war. It's the same thing you've been doing time and time and time before. Your little secret ain't a secret anymore. Your dirty little secret ain't a secret anymore. Your dirty little secret ain't a secret anymore. Thank you very much. Okay, now what about this song's about, pretty old. It was written about 60 years ago. Come, you masters of war. You that build the big guns. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You that hide behind walls. You that hide behind desks. I just want you to know I can see through your mask. You've never done nothing but build to destroy. You play with my world like it's your little toy. You put a gun in my hand. You hide from my eyes. Then you turn and run farther when the fast bullets fly. Like Judas of old, you lie and deceive. A world war can be won. You want me to believe, but I see through your eyes, and I see through your brain. Like I see through the water that runs down my drain. You've thrown the worst fear that could ever be hurled. The fear to bring children into the world, for threatening my babies, unborn and unnamed. You ain't worth the blood that runs in your veins. I hope that you die, and your death will come soon. I'll follow your casket on a pale afternoon, and I'll watch while you're lured to your deathbed. And then I'll stand over your grave till I'm sure that you're dead. Come, you masters of war, you that build the big guns, you that build the death planes, you that build all the bombs, you that hide behind walls, you that hide behind desks. I just want you to know I can see through your mask. With Julian Assange's help, we can see through your mask. Thank you.
Just by sheer luck, we happen to have one of the world's greatest journalists, one of my favorite heroes of all time, Mr. Lauria, who is like John Pilger and several other journalists, the greatest journalist about on this planet. He said he'll come and say a couple of words. Please, Joe, just give us a couple of words, please.
Couple of words.
You caught me hiding over there, unfortunately. No, I'm very happy to be here. Just reading about this fella here. I don't know this Julian guy. Can you hear me now? Yep. First, I have to pay tribute to the people here who've been doing this for 200 weeks. That's my arithmetic is bad, but that's about 4 years
Correct.
What's happened those 4 years?
A lot.
Besides Julian being in jail, which is how this started, right? But the awareness of the case around the world has been extraordinarily different from 4 years ago. Heads of state all across Latin America, members of this parliament, of parliaments in Germany, Britain, 1 or 2 members of the US Congress. And it's because of people like you who are here today, because in many cities of the world there are rallies like this, trying to explain to a population that's walking by, getting to and from work, in this case, who your own citizen is, what he's done and what has been done to him. And what has he done? What has he done? Well, I am a journalist. I do not ascribe to the description that was given of me of being one of the world's greatest, or being mentioned the same breath as John Pilger. Just go to Pilger's website and see how many films and books he's written. There's very few of us who can come close to his achievements. But he was a journalist. He still is. He's in jail for being that and nothing more. Publisher. It's often said here by politicians, amongst them the 6 that are in Washington right now, lobbying to get Julian out, that Chelsea Manning is free, and Chelsea was the source. How could the journalist, the publisher, still be in jail? What's often forgotten is that Chelsea Manning signed a non-disclosure agreement with the U.S. government. She was an employee of the U.S. government. She actually broke a law. So, no way she should have been treated the way she was, imprisoned for that long and tortured, but she broke a law. She decided on her own to break that law. Now, I'm the editor of Consortium News and the editor-in-chief, our founding editor, Robert Perry. He wrote in 2010 that he was a great investigative journalist for Associated Press, that he would encourage his sources, if they needed to break a law in order to reveal information that could prevent a larger crime from being committed. That's what a whistleblower does. That's what Chelsea Manning did. So she went into that with her eyes wide open, that she was committing a crime to give that material to Julian Assange. And yet she's free. Julian Assange was never a U.S. citizen, never worked for the U.S. government, never signed the non-disclosure agreement. What is he doing in jail in Britain? Because he upset very powerful people in Britain, in the United States, and even here in Australia, if you remember what Julia Gillard said about him, that he'd committed a crime. What I just said, she was saying wasn't true. That he'd committed a crime and wanted his passport, and only the AFP had to tell her that she was full of it. He'd committed no crime. So if Chelsea Manning is free, someone who did commit a crime willingly, there's no reason Julian should be in jail, except they want to protect their own bottoms here, their own interests. And this should outrage everyone on this street right now. If they understood what the case is, and again, thank you to everyone here for your 2 years of bringing that information to your public here in a very busy street in Sydney. So keep it up, and thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Joe Lauria, folks, the editor-in-chief of Consortium News, possibly the leading publication on geopolitics in the world right now. If you don't know about Consortium News, you really are not being informed. You must check them out. Joe Lauria, thank you so much, sir.
Welcome to the 200th week of Julian Assange Sydney Town Hall gatherings. Governments use propaganda to corrupt democracy. It is impossible for the public to make sensible political decisions on the basis of government propaganda, which invariably comprises false, biased or incomplete information. If we are to achieve a degree of democracy, we must be able to resist being unduly influenced by government propaganda. Julian Assange was able to circumvent the effects of government propaganda by publishing genuine documents showing us exactly how our governments behave. Julian's act of informing people truthfully produced great embarrassment for many at the highest levels of government and media, and brought them into disrepute. The response of governments and media was to manufacture propaganda designed to discredit and smear Julian Assange. An onslaught of negative propaganda against Julian has blindsided the public enough that the UK government has been able to detain and politically persecute him on behalf of the US. The success of propaganda depends on how much people engage with it. When we plug into propaganda, we are affected by it, whether we agree with it or not. Present-day propaganda is highly sophisticated and can be used to limit the scope of discussion and distract us from what we really need to be doing. We need to disengage from government propaganda and counteract it with the truth. Truth is powerful, and in our possession, we may use it to generate the unity that must arise to defeat corruption of our democracy. Truth tells a compelling story. The truth about Julian Assange places him in a very positive light. Our voicing of this truth may be why Julian has not yet been extradited to the United States. More of us voicing more of the truth is what we must do to free Julian Assange. Here is some truth about Julian Assange. He is a political prisoner being held hostage. All available evidence shows us that everything he did was both ethical and legal. Julian is a journalist and a publisher. Julian showed the world how governments could be made transparent by protecting whistleblowers through his innovative use of digital encryption. Everything Julian has published is genuine and firmly in the public interest. Julian Assange is brave. His journalism exposed war crimes and high-level corruption. Julian personally redacted names to protect innocent people. And no one, I repeat, no one has been harmed as a result of his publishing. In 2011, Julian and WikiLeaks were awarded a Walkley Award for their outstanding contribution to journalism. Julian's journalism has revealed crimes the powerful desperately want to keep hidden from public scrutiny. His journalism has been invaluable for justice and has been used as decisive evidence in courts of law all around the world. According to the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, Julian has been detained arbitrarily since the 7th of December 2010. In addition, Professor Niels Melzer, while in the role of the United Nations Special Rapporteur on Torture and other cruel and inhumane treatment and punishment, let the world know that Julian's treatment is torture. He should be free, and he should always have been free. Julian Assange's arrest by the UK police broke international law, and the case for his Ecuadorian citizenship is still being fought out in Ecuador. At this point in time, Julian Assange remains an Ecuadorian citizen. Julian's inalienable habeas corpus rights have been denied to him for 13 years. It is against UK law for anyone to be extradited for political reasons. Julian is still not free, and he is still being smeared by politicians and the media. But levels of public awareness and support are now much higher than when we started turning up at Sydney Town Hall in 2019. Julian Assange needs everyone's support. Join us in spreading the truth to help free Julian Assange and freedom of speech. Free Julian Assange. Free Julian Assange. Free Julian Assange. There is only one decision. There is only one decision. There is only one decision. It might.
Our mate.
Julian Assange. Our mate.
Julian Assange.
Thank you.
We are now very privileged to have another great journalist who's also connected with that great publication, Consortium News. If you don't tune into Consortium News every day or two, you are really missing out on geopolitics and humanitarian issues. Cathy Vogan, journalist and one of the editors of Consortium News, is going to have a few words. Please make her welcome. Thank you, Cathy.
Well, on this 200th protest or celebration of a great person's work, I'm proud to be here with you. I recognise so many faces here. We have been here. We have occupied DFAT. Where is she? Naughty girl. We got Max Kaiser to put that on his channel, and we got 28,000 views. We occupied DFAT in 2012. Jan, my friend from Politics in the Pub. Jan might have been there on the day as well. Maybe no. No. I think that everybody was so brave. But Mark Walburn, you have been we've all been going to protest. I started defending Julian Assange in 2010. It's been 13 years. He had a website called thinkthing.com. I was told he worked with the Chinese dissidents, because WikiLeaks, in the very early days, the idea was to go after repressive regimes. China, Russia, the Middle Eastern countries, Western countries were not on the list. That wasn't the original intention of WikiLeaks. You can read that on the cryptome.org website today. The original emails of all the people who put this beautiful idea together to create transparency, to let people know about war crimes, corruption, the things that we really ought to know. And what I thought about WikiLeaks was that you've got to have accuracy in the historical record even. As a historian, it must be accurate. But also I understood that Julian Assange had a distinctly anti-war bent about him. And he said our number one enemy is ignorance. And in fact, most of the wars in the last 50 years have been started by media lies. And if we can do something about that, if we have a healthier media environment, we will have a safer world. Now, the Arab Spring came after that. This changed the world. People started understanding why their lives were miserable. We found out that these armies that were so powerful were just gunning down civilians for fun, for sport, like as if it was a video game. And I'm talking about collateral murder. I took that website and I started writing. I was a teacher. I didn't write, but I thought, and I was a filmmaker, I thought I can do something. I'll take that website, and I maintained it for 9 years. I don't post on it very much these days, because over that period of being what we called then popularly a citizen journalist, I started going on to these vigils and reporting on Julian Assange issues. And those vigils, you remember they went up to 50 hours, they'd have 50 guests. Well, I was one of them. And guess who I met on the vigil? I met Lauria. He was interviewing me, then I had to interview the next person. And well, what happened is that I turned into a journalist myself, and I became a full-time journalist. And what I've been doing since 2019 is I've been in the courtroom, in the Assange courtroom, every day. Lauria and I, Mary Kostakidis, you all know Mary Kostakidis, we have been in the Assange courtroom since the case management hearings, before the extradition hearings. We were in there all day, every day for 1 month in September 2020. We were in there in February 2020, and we were lucky to escape before the pandemic hit. We got back to Australia just 1 day before the borders closed. I would have got back because I'm an Aussie, but I brought Lauria back with me to keep him safe. I thought it'd be safer in Australia. Now, what we have heard in the courtroom is a completely different story. We are hearing forensics. We are hearing a litany of witnesses that show exactly what Jennifer Robinson said in the Canberra press conference, that the facts of the show that no crime has been committed. Now, there are politicians that want Julian to take a plea deal. Admit you're guilty to something, just like poor old David Hicks had to do, right? Hats off to Stephen Kenny for getting that all overturned. He came back to Australia with a criminal. He hadn't committed any crime either, but that was the deal. Or John Howard, our Prime Minister at the time, wouldn't bring him back to Australia. So he had to sign all of these documents. Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And he said it was so hard to say that he had done things that he had not done. But Stephen Kenny wiped his slate clean. He became an innocent man again, a victim, another victim of the American military machine. Thank you, that was exactly the right word. That's the way it operates. He was whisked off to Guantanamo Bay for 5 years. Look at poor Julian. He's been incarcerated in one form or another since 2011. It's just terrible. But the worst thing about it is the lies that are still going around. Now, in my work with Consortium News, we are also reporting. I make the videos. I'm video producer. But we've been in touch with the Australian parliamentarians who are in Washington at the moment. And this morning, Senator David Shoebridge, one of our favourites, our very own from New South Wales, he connected with us and he gave us a report of how the Australian politicians are going in Washington. They've been to Congress, they've been to the Department of State, they've been to the Department of Justice, and they've been at the Australian Embassy. And he tells me that they were treated with respect, they were given a fair hearing, and it seems that there are a lot of American politicians who are on board. One of the things that pleased me the most is that David said, and what we are doing is we are correcting the false information. They are saying, even Anthony Blinken, when he came here, he said that Julian had caused a lot of harm, right? We know from General Robert Carr, from Chelsea Manning's court-martial, that not one single person had been harmed. He tried to bluff. He gave a name, but that person wasn't even in the release, in the revelations. His name wasn't there. So he had to admit not one person had been harmed. And so he said there are a lot of people who know all that already, but they are aware of the fundamentals in this case. Their First Amendment is really important to them. And there are lots of reasons now why the First Amendment is not only in debate, but you could say in crisis. There's a wave of censorship going on, and I don't need to go into too much detail but that is impeding free speech. They're trying to nip the publications that came after WikiLeaks that tell the truth, bravely tell the truth. They're trying to nip them in the bud. Consortium News has come under some attack, but we've kept going. Since 2010, Consortium News has published over 700 articles about WikiLeaks and Julian Assange. And since I started, we have published around 350 films, video reports as well. So we got a little award. I got that little Julian Assange award like a week ago. But it was for that. It was for steadfastly reporting, honestly, truthfully, on the Assange case. That's what it was for. Next year, that award will be for something else. That was the international one. But anyway, I've spoken too much. I think that today we're not just here because for the 200th time, it must be the 1,000th time, a 1,000th time for a lot of the people that I see here. We are the long haulers, and we're not going to give up. We will not shut up either. And our parliamentarians now who are all in agreement. We have a united parliament. They're not going to shut up either. And we want the charges dropped. That's it. We want them dropped. You've had enough. You've ruined his life. It's over. Let him come home and be a dad and be a husband and a great journalist.
Cathy Vogan, folks, please give it up for Cathy Vogan. Now listen, a little placard I picked up here which I thought was attractive. Truth results in peace. And you know, one of the best forms of truth is a photograph. And I think we should all stand together and get a photograph which hopefully Julian can see, and maybe will be published on the Consortium News, and every foreign minister, every State Department, every diplomat in the entire world will see that we're not going to forget about this matter. Please come in so we can get a photograph of us all.
Julian Assange!
Free! Julian Assange! Free! Julian Assange! Free! Julian Assange! Only one decision!
No extradition!
There is only one decision!
No extradition!
Inmate! Julian Assange! Inmate! Our mate!
Julian Assange!
Only one decision!
No extradition!
Free!
Julian Assange!
Free!
Julian Assange!
Free!
Julian Assange! 88% of you out there think he should not be extradited. How about you join in?
Come on, you 12%. Don't shilly-shally around.
One more if you want looking.
Yay!
Come on in. Did you get some with my camera?
Yeah, I'm doing that too. I did some before.
Jesus, good. What a good turnout, eh? Lovely.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. I wonder if you can. Nothing to kill or die for. A brotherhood of man. And a sisterhood, of course. But, you know, Yoko forgot to remind him of that, but never mind. Imagine then all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope one day you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. need for greed or hunger. Whatever the next one is. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say, I'm a dreamer. I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
200 weeks we've been here, and we're ready for the next 200. In the meantime, we're going to have cake.
10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whee!
Cathy, Vogan, thank you, darling. Thank you, everybody.
I cut out the word free.
Yes.
The word free's been cut loose.
Yay!
That's very symbolic. If anybody would like to come,
Anyone want a piece of freedom?
come and have a piece of freedom.
Come this way.
Come and join us. Come and join us for some cake. Come and join our celebration.
Wait, I want to get you getting that out. Give me one sec,
Free Julian. Legally removed us from their premises.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm
Oh my God, get a piece of cake.
A bit of a theme song where we won't back down. No, we won't back down. Well, you can stand us up on the gates of hell, but we won't back down. We gonna stand our ground. We'll be turned around. And in a world that keeps on pushing us down, no, we won't back down. We gonna stand our ground. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, we gonna stand our ground. And we won't back down. Well, we know what's right. We got just one life. And a world that keeps on pushing us around. No, we won't back down. We're gonna stand our ground. Yeah. Well, hey, baby. We won't back down. Yeah, remember that. Anthony Albanese, we got a message for you. We ain't going back down, Daddy. There you go. Little tune for Julian.
We are all